And just take a look at the disgusting track record of shameless netas targeting actresses either directly or to make some kind of vicarious political point. The one we're talking about right now, Raju, formerly of the AIADMK, and the vulgar stuff he said about Trisha. Rahul Gandhi says people are distracted from issues by showing Nachte Hue Aishwarya Rai dancing. He said it on more than one occasion. Aishwarya Rai has become some kind of a metaphor as far as Rahul Gandhi's politics is concerned. In April 2019, Samajwadi Party leader Azam Khan made very objectionable remarks against actor Jayaprada, who's also a politician. December 2012, the Congress's Sanjay Nirupam, made very derogatory remarks against Smriti Irani, who's a former actor and now a politician and minister as well. So there are many other examples, but these are the ones that obviously only come to mind at this point of time. I'm going to be joined now by several people who've decided to speak out about the Trisha Krishnan issue and how she has decided to publicly take on a high-profile abuser, a man who belonging to a big party in Tamil Nadu, and silencing him with a defamation suit. The only way that such people should really be spoken to. I'm joined now by Kasturi, a well-known actor from Tamil Nadu, one of the few who's actually, opened up and spoken about this. She's published her views on social media. In a moment from now, we'll be also joined by Chinmayi Sripada. She's a well-known singer. She's been someone who's been targeted many times by people in power in the film industry. Also, Shibani Kashyap, who's a well-known singer, has chosen to join us and voice her emotions on this issue. Kasturi, welcome to you first. What did you think about this? Trisha has reacted in a fabulous way, the best way to speak to bullies and the arrogance of such people who think they can get away with saying such flippant, abusive and vulgar things. What did it stir in you? You've been and are part of the same industry as well. What did you think? What was your reaction, Kasturi?
Well, obviously it was completely unexpected and shocking. It was disgusting to see a guy go on video and very flippantly, I'm sure you've seen the video,
yes,
where he completely takes the names of people with zero basis. It's not just Trisha. You have chosen not to reveal what he said. So I will try to not say it as well, but it's very difficult. Because he called a male actor who is a part of our Actors Guild, he called him a pimp. And he also went on to say, not just Trisha, so many actresses were there. It was such a generalization of something with zero basis, which perpetuated the already extant myth that actresses are available pieces that are to be objectified.
Yes,
they're just available to the highest bidder, which is such a complete myth. And we have been fighting this for decades in our industry. And to still have to deal with it in 2024 is it's just tragic, number one. Number two, this is a guy, A.V. Raju, is from Anna AIADMK. I mean, this is the party of J. Jayalalitha,
exactly.
Purachi Talavi, who was a spectacular woman. Somebody that was celebrated in Tamil Nadu and the greatest leader, that she's the winningest leader in the history of Tamil Nadu politics. She was an actress herself. How did this guy even think about this? I mean, if he had just thought, what would JJ have said? How would she have felt? But at the end of the day, Trisha has not responded in the best way possible. She has responded in the only way possible, because usually in gossip columns, people will not name people. They will, gupshup likhenge naam ke bina. They will not mention names. Here, this guy goes on TV with like several mics. He goes on a completely viral video naming her as part of some shenanigans in Kuwatur, because he wants to shame the leaders who were involved in Kuwatur 2.5 years ago. So in his effort to shame menfolk in his party, he's dragging the name of somebody completely. And I will give you a guarantee on that. Trisha has nothing to do with this event. She has nothing to do with the incident. You were there. India Today was there. Journalists were camped outside the Kuwatur resort.
No,
Day in,
regardless,
day
the question, the question I'm asking, also asking you as a follow-up, Kasturi, is, where does this impunity actually come from? Because one would think that saying something like this about a high-profile star would, automatically trigger precisely the kind of action that Trisha has taken, which is an expensive, potentially damaging, financially damaging defamation case. Where does that impunity come from? Is it because of a history of lack of action against such people?
3 points. First part, the Indian patriarchal male chauvinist mentality. And I'm sorry, you're not part of it, but this is the Indian mentality that has been ingrained into the people, that women in public life, not just actors, women in public life are fair game to talk anything about, to slut shame. We are looking at people slut shaming Sakshi Malik for wearing her uniform in the Olympics. So this is something which is a bigger problem. Number two, as you've rightly pointed out, the legal system is very slow. Trisha can file a defamation. It's going to, a civil defamation costs money. The minimum cost of a civil defamation is 3 lakhs court fees. And on top of it, it's going to take us several years to get justice. So, in all those 3 years, every time she shows up in court, they're going to make a news out of it. They're going to discuss her personal life again and again and over again. Number two. So it's not a win situation for her, even though, it's the only situation for her. She cannot.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, Kasturi. I want to...
Shiv, the last point, because this is very important to the mentality of Tamil Nadu. We have the Dravidian philosophy, and the founder, leader of AIADMK, Sri Annadurai, he was famously known for saying, I'm not a saint. And number one, she's talking about a numero uno actress of yesteryear. They asked him, you're being linked to this actress. What is your comment? And he said, she's not a virgin and I'm not a saint. This is there was a time when politics was decent and civilized in Tamil Nadu. Once the Dravidian culture seeped in, this is what we have to deal with.
Okay, I don't want to get too much into the politics of it, and I want to focus on the individuals, but you make an important point, Kasturi, and I'll explore that a little further. Welcoming Chinmay Sripada also onto our program. We've seen her here on 5 Live before. Chinmay, welcome. Thank you for your time. We're talking about the Trisha case, which you're familiar with. Chinmay is no stranger, to high-profile attacks, from people in power. She has waged a well-known an ongoing battle against lyricist Vairamuthu, who is accused of, molesting and harassing scores of people, including Chinmay, in the film industry at their cost. Chinmay, this is a situation which you are familiar with, but I'm asking you this as a larger question. It's something that I asked Kasturi as well. How do people like A.V. Raju believe they can get away with something like this?
Because I think this is the system and the society in general. There is no punitive action for this behavior. The society doesn't care. People forget. And I think actresses in general are soft targets, right? So in this particular case, we have had not just this A.V. Raju. There is another journalist called Tamara Pandian, and another woman who was, I think, I forget her name. She was employed with the DMK IT wing. They have all said the same script again and again and again. The only problem here is that they all know how slow the legal system is, and they are also known to famously say publicly, like, just get the case done. It'll take another 20 years for the case to happen. Who will bother until then? By the time you will be dead, I'll be dead, sort of thing. So actresses are soft targets. They can say anything that they want. They can character assassinate anyone they want, and there'll be no punitive action. The parties will not expel them. In fact, I think they will be called back and given bigger postings because now suddenly they're viral on social media.
Very interesting. It's fearlessness of the law the virality which actually adds to their quotient, adds to their popularity. And the example that Chinmay just took of not just A.V. Raju, but others who've also, come out to make a meal of this entire controversy. Shibani Kashyap, well-known singer, is also with us on this show. Shibani, welcome. We have Kasturi and Chinmay also with us. I'm sure you know them. But Shibani, the Trisha case is shocking. It's actually shocking. I was talking about it with my colleagues a short while ago, and we were thinking, how does something like this happen? And, I'm going to go ahead and guess. I know Chinmay has faced this and continues to face it. I'm sure Kasturi has faced it. And I'm sure you've also faced it at some point of time in your, in your career in showbiz. What do you think about this? Kasturi, I'll come to you in just a moment. Let Shibani just get in.
Hi. So this is really, in at a time when, India is actually conquering the moon with Chandrayaan 3 happening and so many other amazing things happening.
Yeah.
This is ludicrous, ridiculous, and it's the next level of male chauvinism to its, I don't know, absolute ridiculous level. And it's unbelievable actually. And when women are really, really, at the forefront today in so many professions, be it being a scientist or a music director or an actor or whatever, women are really rocking the block. So passing such a statement, I think it's very, very derogatory, and it should be, it's unpardonable. And in my career, yes, I mean, of course, there are times, especially when you're wearing some kind of clothes which are kind of supposedly inappropriate. So there are people who comment that, I do remember there was a time that at the Indira Gandhi Stadium, there was a certain gentleman who I wouldn't like to name. He introduced me on the stage. He was to give me an award. And just before giving the award, I had a performance. And of course, for the performance, I wore my glamorous outfit. Why shouldn't I? Right?
Yes, absolutely.
So when people, but when but the way he introduced me was, वही छोटे कपड़ों वाली उसी को बुलाते हैं शिवानी को.
Wow.
I was enraged. I came on the stage and I just took his trip, and I asked him to apologize to me publicly in front of those 5,000 people who were present there. One should not wait for apologies. One should do it right there and then, put them in their place right there and then. So I'm glad we're having this discussion. So, the person who's the perpetrator.
No, Shibani, I'm really glad you've given us this example, and I remember that as well. Chinmay, before I come back to you, Kasturi, Chinmay, this is another example of exactly what you were saying as well, that there is a sort of chronic, lack of fear of any retribution. I can't think of any one case, any one instance, where an example has truly been set, where someone who's even thinking of saying something like this about, a woman, let alone a star, will say, oh my God, look what happened to this guy.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't say this.
Usually the woman who speaks up is I think she is the one who gets to pay the price. Whether if it is a woman who says that they were molested, they get to pay the price. If it is somebody like Trisha, there were others who were saying on social media like, oh my God, this is the climax of her career. I mean, look at her, look at where she is, and look at you on social media who's saying it's the climax of her career and all of that. So that's why I think the men don't pay. They can rape, they can sexually assault. They will be in prime positions in all political parties. I think far left to far right, almost everybody is guilty of this, or in some way, form or the other, because they want to pander to a vote bank. They want to pander to these molesters or abusers or criminals or rapists or whatever else. They all always find space amongst power, and especially political power, and therefore this also silences women. I think as we speak, there are visually impaired people in Tamil Nadu who are protesting, teachers basically protesting, and there's so much excesses happening on them by the establishment, and it's really really sad, and nobody's also talking about that. On one side we have this, and one side we have that, and it's overall, what I feel is that I think the marginalized are getting marginalized even more. Those who have even a feeble voice are getting their voice boxes torn out of their throats. And if you want any semblance of justice, stop hoping for it. This is, and I think all of this speeches of social justice and progressiveness and women's safety and all of this is, I think, just a sham. It just is something that they put on their manifestos or do
No,
these.
you make a very important point,
speeches.
Chinmay, because you're talking about, if the disenfranchised are going to be abandoned in this manner, in this age of, professed social justice by all our politicians, what happens to, the big stars like even Trisha, who is, clearly fair game of our politicians, like we've seen Rahul Gandhi, the Congress has made women's safety a big ticket issue, and I don't wish to make this political at all. He's been taking the name of Aishwarya Rai, Nachte Hue videos. He's been talking about that in a very insensitive way for the last couple of days, which is weird. But taking forward what Shibani also said, Kasturi, I'd like to come to you on that. Shibani gave an example of how she dealt with that situation right there and then. She shamed that guy in public in front of that entire crowd. Legal recourse is also a possibility. But I'm just still wondering, is there a template? Is there something women like Trisha or others should do? Because you said, what she has done, the defamation case, isn't the best thing to do. It's the only thing to do. Is there something, does something need to change? Does someone need to do something different in order to make a change?
Yeah, I think we need to have a tribunal that is, this is coming from me as a legal person. We need to have a tribunal that expressly and dedicatedly works towards sexual abuse, cyber abuse over women. And right now we have only two options. We have a civil defamation case and we have a criminal defamation that we go to a police station and we undertake criminal proceedings against the perpetrator. But we need a judicial body that will do this within a when I'm talking about swift justice, I'm talking about a few weeks, not a few months, a few weeks, immediate justice before the thing dies down, before the video has had a chance to live a life of its own and everybody has made their own conclusions. No, we need to get the punishment right away. See, Shibani was lucky. She was there. Trisha was not there. She has to do something at a subsequent stage. I speak up for Trisha. I was the first person to speak up for Trisha and I'm slut shamed for it. So now I don't have protection because I speak up for her. So it's the ecosystem that attacks anybody who goes against their patriarchal mores. And we need to do this by law. Like Sati was banned and everybody it was a punishable crime to indulge in that. We need to start having instant punishments. This needs to be a non-bailable offense with instant arrest. Then we will see. Let the court take 20 years after that. Let the guy be arrested first.
We live in a country, Shibani, we live in a country where, we saw the Nirbhaya gang rape. And, the whole country thought, I'm not equating one and two, but I'm saying, crimes against women, attitudes towards women, they're all, part of the same universe of abuse of women. And I'm saying in 2012, when that terrible crime happened, you no doubt remember it, everyone thought something has changed. This is going to be the beginning of something new. There is going to be fear in the minds of rapists. People are going to rethink how they look at women, how they treat women physically, verbally, in every possible way. This, what has happened with Trisha, what has happened with you, are, daily reminders that nothing has really essentially changed, Shibani.
I've always said, and I hope you people will agree with me on this, that there should be severity of punishment to these kind of crimes. If, as Chinmay just said, that there should be an unbailable, it should be unbailable. So if there is severity of punishment, the criminal will also think twice before committing such crimes or saying such things. There should be a very severe punishment. So that will always put the fear of God, as they say, put the fear of God there. So once that fear is there, fear factor, then I'm sure we will see much less of these kind of inappropriate things and crime and these things against women happening. So that's what I believe.
Okay, I'll take final comments from all three of you, starting with you, Chinmay. It's easy for men like me to say that I empathize and I understand and things like that. But at the end of the day, I don't think any man can really 100% empathize with what women go through in this kind of situation. So I want you to, just take 30 seconds to each of you and, your final sort of word to women out there watching this story. Because I imagine that if the common man and woman on the street watch someone like Trisha being treated in this manner, they're going to think, where's the hope for any of us?
Exactly. May I speak?
Yes, Chinmay, to you first.
Okay. The first, I think, comment that I want to definitely make is when the Nirbhaya case happened, it shook us all to the core. And however, the most common repartee that we got from the general public that you speak to, एक लड़की उतनी देर रात को बाहर क्या कर रही थी? That mindset has not changed in 10 years or 20 years or whatever. This mindset is our problem, which is why the gang rape that shook us, we have several more gang rapes that are happening. Those are getting filmed and sold in the porn market. There is a gang rape porn. The abuse has only increased incrementally. I still remember this lady who told me that you came out and spoke against your molester, but I would never let my daughter speak about a molester, because these men in this country believe that if a woman has spoken up, I have touched, I mean, you are already touched by a man, so I will also touch you. Isme kya hai? So you must get used to it. You are in. So this entire, as we call it, the slut shaming, that's a problem. So I think the men, the system, the establishment, the society likes to make examples of women by abusing them, by harassing them, by assaulting them, of the marginalized, of the oppressed, and so saying time and again and time and again. And this is also anybody who has political power to change things, they have absolutely no spine and no will as such to say that they truly stand for the marginalized. So therefore, they repeatedly make examples of women. See, nothing happens if you speak up, and we get they get proven right. And this is the sad state of this country today. And truth be told, I see no hope. I am not hopeful in this country. I have no hope in any leadership, and that I speak from my personal lived experience.
I sincerely hope you are wrong, and I hope the fight continues. Only for a lack of time, I'm closing the show at this point of time, but I'd like to thank Chinmay, Kasturi and Shibani for your words. It means a lot to us here on India Today. It means a lot to me personally that you're speaking about what I know is a very, very sensitive issue. So I thank you very, very deeply for being with me on this show and telling us what you think about this case. I promise that we will continue to cover it and all such cases here on India Today.